Okay. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Her Money Matters. This is our first time hosting this virtual event, but we're excited to have you all here. This is a series of financial panels. And of course, if you all were with us at the beginning of the event, then you also had the opportunity to go into the networking lounge and connect with others there. Um, Angelica, can you just send a message and make certain everybody is back here with us? Okay, that was off cue. But just thinking, because I want to make certain that there's no one still left in the lounge and that everybody is actually in the backstage area. So if you all know of anybody that was left back that way, make certain that they did come back here with us. Um, uh, I am Fancy, and I am the publisher and editor in chief of Swagger Magazine, which is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for the Black woman that likes to keep it real in life and in business. And I was really inspired to do this event after being in business 11 years. Last year was the biggest year, like that we've had as far as finances. And I kind of realized, like, hey, I need to better learn how to manage my money. And I thought about that there were a lot of other Black women in that same position. You know, last year may have been a big year for them as well. And they realized that they were kind of going into, I'm not going to say a different bracket per se, but just that there were other things that they needed to know or be more aware of. And so that's kind of like the inspiration behind Her Money Matters. And so we gathered together these list of panelists. Some applied, some we invited, and basically they'll be sharing their expertise with you. But before we get into all of that, I would also like to thank our vendor, because we had some well, actually we had two. I like to thank Chi Bath and Body and Kim Cross for attending. And Kim is also the back cover of our favorite and fit issue, if you all have seen that. And then we also had Theories and Thoughts podcast / Theories and Thoughts deep dive. And I'm certain that you all have met Anya at her table, but that is my co-host for the podcast and talk show as well. So we appreciate them. And then we also had an in-kind sponsor, Monique Dutrieve of Mo, the MLO. I'm thinking that that stands for loan and mortgage officer. And so we will be giving away some prizes from them this evening. And then of course everything that we give away will have to be shipped out, you know, because we are virtual. But I like to now bring in our hostess, Miss Lady Tiffany Nicole, who is the CEO of Power Influence Radio, as well as the hostess of the Virtuous Hour. She is going to be moderating the two panels this evening, and I'll just go ahead on and bring her in now and let her take over. If I could just find my controls. 1 second. Why can't I find y'all? Okay. Give me just a minute. Like once we switched into this view, I have suddenly gotten lost and I don't see the permissions that we once had. Oh, now I realize what I need to do. Okay. Thank you. So if you are a panelist, please raise your hand. I forgot I did tell y'all that in the email. Okay. And so Lady Tiffany Nicole will bring you guys up in just a minute. But hey, Lady Tiffany Nicole, thank you for being the one to remember this.
Okay,
So I'm gonna go ahead on and step aside and let you take over.
absolutely.
If I can find my way off the stage.
Hey, y'all. I am your girl, your homie, your sister from around the way, Lady Tiffany Nicole, and I am here to stay. I am so excited to welcome each and every last one of you millionaire queens, you boss babes, ready to get the bag. Welcome to Her Money Matters. We're taking control of our finances in 2022 beyond. Thank you so much, Fancy, for allowing me the opportunity to grace this platform and for trusting me with your vision and the amazing ladies on the panel. We don't want to belabor the time, but our first panel is the personal finance panel. And as Black women, many of us are the sole providers of our household. So it's important that we know how to manage our money. Fortunately, we have a team of financial experts with us this evening. So I want to ask you, ladies, what is the hardest thing about, and think about this as I bring them up, what are some of the hardest things about managing your personal finances at home? And get your questions and everything ready because you'll be able to put them in the chat and we'll try to get to them. We have Mika Clay. She's top tier realtor. Meeka Clay is knowledgeable in all things real estate, especially in and around Charlotte, North Carolina. She is the owner of M. Clay Enterprises, and Mika Clay is the go to for the breakdown on the real estate market. You can find Mika Clay and follow her on Instagram at QC Broker MJ. That's capital Q, little c, capital B with broker, and then capital MJ like Michael Jackson. The next person on the panel we have is Rachael Hanible. Rachael Hanible is a financial consultant, author, and inspirational speaker. Not only will Rachel increase your knowledge about money, but she will also motivate you to make money as well. Please follow Rachel on Instagram at Pep Talks underscore. That is Pep Talks, PEPTALKS underscore. We also have coming to the stage is Janae Nguyen. There are multiple ways to achieve success. And Janae Nguyen provides the best financial advice from a biblical perspective. Nguyen's company, Financial Healing for Women, guides women on how to reform their financial lives through a spiritual approach. You can find Janae on Instagram, J Favored, lowercase j Favored, FAVORED. And you can find her on Instagram as Financial Healing for Women. Last but certainly not least, we have Latoya Whitfield. Miss Whitfield is the mastermind behind a Queenpreneur's Plan, an initiative designed to help Black women navigate the corporate business world without tipping their crown. I like that. Latoya Whitfield teaches Black women how to access their inner power and channel that strength into succeeding as a queenpreneur. You're able to find Latoya on Instagram at Financial Coach Wit. That's Financial Coach Wit, WHIT. Say hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hey, and I've got an update for Latoya Whitfield. Coach Latoya Whitfield on Instagram. Coach Latoya Whitfield on Instagram. Hey, ladies, how y'all doing tonight?
Wow.
Wonderful. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. Y'all excited about helping us get this bag?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. I'm gonna ask you guys each a general question. Just say hello to everyone here. Say hello to everyone in your own way. Mika Clay.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here to share with you so much great information, and I feel very honored to be on this esteemed panel of professionals. I'm sure the nuggets, the info, the truth bombs that you're going to get tonight going to do nothing but help you glow up. So thank you for having me.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Welcome. Let's give us some snaps. Let's give us some snaps. Rachel, say hello in your own way, Queen.
Hello, everyone. I am Rachael Hanible, your favorite personal finance coach, and I am here just to hang out with y'all so we can talk about money, all things money. We are going to have the conversation. This is a comfortable, safe space, so feel free to ask your questions and get comfortable and get ready. Hope you got notepads out, but get ready to take some notes. And I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you all for having me.
All right, Queen, let's give her a snap, snap, snaps. Good job, Queen. All right, Janée Nguyen, come with it, huh? What you got, Queen?
Hey, everybody. My name is Janae Nguyen. I'm a personal finance strategist. So excited to be here to just have some candid conversation, be transparent, and just really tell it like it is. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Give her snaps. We gonna support everybody. Everybody give them their snaps. Your time is coming soon. And last but not least, Latoya Whitfield. What you got, Queen?
Hello, Queenpreneurs. I'm super excited to be here. Excited to connect with you and teach you some things when it comes to money, which is really our mindset and it controls everything that we do as we move forward. So I'm super excited to hang out with you and ready for your questions.
Let's give us some snaps. What I would like for our guests to do, if you guys could just hop in the chat and let us know where you are from. Hop in the chat, all of the guests, queenpreneurs, boss babes, money millionaire queens. Everybody type in the chat where you from and also type in where we can follow you on Instagram as well. We got Charlotte. Okay, Queen City, Charlotte in the building. Huntsville, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia. That's me. ATL, stand up, peace up. 18. All right, Dallas, Texas in the building. All right, Philadelphia, PA, Minnesota. Okay. So we are around the globe tonight. Brooklyn, come on, Brooklyn. Yes, where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Okay. London. Wow. Hello, London, England. Los Angeles. By way of OKC. Pick one, boo. Pick one. Listen, but we want to let everyone know where we're from and where we are all coming together to get our mindset ready. Our money matters. Our money matters, not just for shoes and bags, cars and houses. It matters for other things as well. So let's get into the conversation, shall we?
I'm ready.
Oh, let's see. I had a list of questions. First panel. So, Rachael Hanible, what is the difference between good debt and bad debt, and how can someone improve their credit score?
Oh, good question. So I know this question is for me because I became completely debt free. So I paid off over $92,000 worth of debt. And my credit score is at 843. This is my perfect score year. I'm speaking it. I'm believing it. So I know why this question came to me. I would say good debt is anything that is tied to an asset. That we know the difference between the asset and the liability is costing us money, and assets help us make money. So good debt is anything that's tied to an asset, but you still want to make sure you're paying your debt down and paying as you should be paying. But when it comes to increasing your credit score, the biggest thing is just paying your bills on time, right? Most of my clients don't even know when their bills are due. I say, well, what do you do when your bills due? When are your due dates for this and that? They're like, I don't know. We just pay it when we got it. And I'm like, well, the biggest part of getting a good credit score is making sure you're paying your bills on time. And so I've been 8 years over 800, and that is the biggest thing that has allowed me to stay above 800 is just paying the bills on time. So that is the number one thing you absolutely have to do. Make sure you're paying your bills on time. A late payment could cost you almost 100 points. So you want to make sure that you know when your bills are due and that you're paying them before they're due.
I love that. So paying them before they're due is the best way to improve your credit score. And good debt is anything attached to an asset. What is a bad debt?
Bad debt is just all liabilities. Just anything that's just sucking up all of your resources, sucking up all of your income, and is not paying for itself. That is bad debt.
All right. I like that. Y'all got that down? Good debt is anything attached to an asset. Bad debt is anything attached to liability. And to get the credit score going, just pay the bills on time. Are there particular bills that need to be paid on time as opposed to others? I remember seeing that, for those of us that are not homeowners, paying rent, for so long was not included under. So what are some bills that are important to pay on time? If you pay the light bill late, is that a problem, or is it a problem once they get to cut off stage and you never, what bills do we need to pay on time?
Well, the main ones you need to worry about is your credit card bills, your mortgage, your car payments. Those are the biggest things you really need to worry about. Just straight off the top, those are the things that you're going to take the biggest hit if you miss paying those bills. And so you want to make sure you're paying those, and then thanks to Experian, we're able to get some credit for paying our utility bills as well if you use Experian Boost. And so those are things that previously we didn't get credit for. We can get some credit for, so you can get some points there as well. But those top three are the main things that you're going to see the biggest hit if you miss paying those on time.
Experian Boost. That's good to know. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good stuff. Thank you, Rachel. Mika Clay coming to the stage. What type of loans should people avoid?
I don't think that there are any particular type of loans that people avoid. I think that when you're thinking about buying a home, you have to look at your individual circumstance. And I recommend clients hire your realtor first, interview and hire a realtor first, because they usually have the resources to connect you with the right lenders who can answer the questions of which type of loan will best fit my financial situation. For example, right now, especially post-pandemic, we have a lot of people who work from home. They have, full-time jobs, but they're paid differently because they may be paid in a California wage, but they live in North Carolina. Before, that may have boggled the minds of loan officers because it doesn't make sense on paper. But I have experience with certain lenders who say, hey, this is how we process this situation. Or, for example, another example is traveling nurses. That is kind of an industry that has grown, especially during the pandemic. And you just have to know your client to know where to send them or what lenders to maybe direct them to. I would say if I had to pick a type of loan that I would avoid, it would be a loan that you can't afford. First of all, because if you can't afford it, it's going to cause you to be in a situation where you're messing up your credit because you're missing payments, and you potentially could lose the house, which puts you in a situation where you may have trouble finding new housing while you rebuild. So those type of loans would be adjustable rate mortgages that have really bad, hard terms for anyone to live up to. Thankfully, most of our banking regulations have put guards in place to prevent the average homeowner or the average buyer from falling into that situation. So, most realtors have some expertise and experience with lenders, and they know, hey, this is, a good reputable lender that I trust to give you the right financial guidance. And so, if you choose the right realtor, they're normally going to point you in the right direction of resources to make sure that you avoid any type of loan that's going to put you in a bad situation.
Got you. So for those of us that's not at the point to buy a home right now and we're still trying to get our money matters together, what about payday loans, title loans, refinances? What about those type of loans? Are those good or bad, or are there any good? Someone is in a pickle, things of that nature.
So I would say if you find yourself in a dire situation and you need cash quickly, my first advice is usually to start with where you are. Start with your own internal resources. Like credit unions are really a great place to start with. A lot of credit unions have a lot more understanding guidelines, and they will assist you. I know there are two credit unions, Navy Federal and North Carolina State Employees Credit Union, for example, that offer payday loans that will give you a little advance if you already have like direct deposit coming into their lending institution. I'm not one to judge. Everyone falls on hard times. Title loans, payday loans, they're bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not the best situation for you. However, if that's what you have to do at that moment, do what you have to do, but let's make a plan to get out of the loop. The problem is where people start borrowing money to pay back money that they borrowed, and what ends up happening is they're paying interest on interest on interest, and it becomes a vicious cycle. So my advice is, hey, listen, if that's where you find yourself and that's the only course of action you can take, have a plan in place to pay it off and get on more solid footing.
Thank you so much, Mika. I appreciate that, love. Latoya, if you could go back in time and give your younger self financial advice, what would that advice be?
Go to college with a purpose.
Huge.
I went to college because for me, honestly, it was like, my way out. I felt like if I went to college and I had a degree, that would help in some way with me getting the job position that I wanted to get. But in reality, um, I went to school to get those degrees. I got a bachelor's and a master's, and um, I think I only used one of the degrees, and you really technically you didn't have to have a specific degree, just as long as you had a 4-year degree. But all of my other jobs, I never had to have one. And in one particular one, they could care less about my degree. And it was a very great job that I had. And so I found myself trying to continue to get these positions just so I could get a better job. But yet and still, I did not know my purpose. And where there is purpose, there's attraction and there's money. As long as you know what your purpose is, you will attract the money. But if you don't know what your purpose is, you're going to continue to accumulate debt.
Mm.
I like that where your purpose is, you will attract money. But if you don't know what your purpose is, you will create debt. That's good.
Love that.
That's 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 good. That sounds like that's biblical, Rachel.
Oh,
Oh,
I teach biblically.
yes.
Everything that I teach is aligned with the kingdom.
Yes, absolutely. Come on, kingdoms. Yes, yes, yes. Good stuff. Anybody else want to tackle that question? What would you give? What if you could go back in time, give yourself financial advice? What would that advice be? Any of you ladies outside of Latoya, I believe you guys could to share some wisdom. Janae?
I would definitely say because when I went to college, I was an out of state student. So, as an out of state student, you automatically are paying more in tuition. And so, back then, I didn't know what it was to get a refund check. What was a refund check? I'm not sure if anybody else knows, but it's an amount of money that they give you if your loan is too much compared to how much you actually need for the semester. And so nobody told me to how to properly use that money. So if I could go back, I'd take that refund check and just put it right back on the loan. Um, those are things like now that I actually teach. If people are going to go to school, you don't necessarily always need that extra money because that extra money is just making you have more and more loans, more interest is piling on top of those loans when you could be paying that stuff off strategically as you're in school. So I would definitely go back and tell myself to do that.
I think
Wow.
if I could go back in time, I probably would start saving sooner. I think a lot of us have a mindset that I'll save when I get to a specific income or job or place. But just learning and really appreciating the time value of money and the time value of investing. I wish I had started saving sooner and maybe bought a few more properties when the market was at a different place.
Wow. Miss Rachel.
I was going to say the same thing. Actually, I was going to say, like start putting away my 401k. I probably should have done that sooner.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Queens, for taking an opportunity. And did I close the thing? Thank you, ladies, for taking the opportunity to answer that question. So the next question I have is for Janae, Latoya, and Mika. You guys can tag team on this a little bit and give your personal suggestions. What is the best way to budget with our personal finances?
I'll go.
Go.
So for me, one thing that I have started to realize, or I started to realize, is that we are lazy.
Mm,
And because we are lazy, we don't want to sit down and do our budget every week. So one thing that I found that was really helpful with clients when I was actually doing the personal finance area is that I would have them automate as many things as they could. And
mm,
once they automated everything that they possibly could, and they knew that their check came every 2 weeks, uh, they may touch it one time, or they may just continuously just adjust it if they do something miscellaneous. But everything would be so specific that they didn't have to keep continuing to look at it. That everything was automatic. The only thing that they would maybe touch would be the miscellaneous things, and I will always make sure that they had a separate account for spending. That way, that money never touched the bill money. We had an account just for bills, we had an account just for savings, and we had an account for spending. Um, Bill money was automatic, savings was automatic, and if you know you only had $100, you knew when you put it in that spending account, that was all you had left. So, my best advice is to automate, automate, automate. Read The Automatic Millionaire, because it's not about how much money you have.
it's not about how much money you make, but
Somehow.
what you do with it, how you spend it.
Yeah.
That's real good. Who's next?
If I could hop in there, I absolutely agree. I love automating savings, all of my bills, and separating accounts is so, so important because when you start to mingle everything together, you lose control. So I would definitely agree with that. I love to budget in Excel, and I feel like it helps my clients when they have something right in front of their face that they can look at. I'm not a fan of apps because we're so over stimulated with our phones. So I'm not really too keen on apps, but I love Excel so that they can organize their expenses and see it. But I honestly feel like when it comes to budgeting, it depends on the personality of the person. And there's lots of budgets. There's a 50/30/20. There's a zero-based budget, which I personally don't like. There's a pay-it-yourself budget. And so I like to chase percentages. I like to see my percentages in categories get so low because I love to have the extra money left over. Because my whole goal with my clients is to get them to smash whatever goals they have with that leftover money. So I like to budget in a way where I can get everything as low as possible so I can have all that extra money to go and do everything that I want to do with it, not what I have to do with it. Because when your money has to go in different places, I think that's when people get discouraged and they don't want to budget. It's just like, what's the point?
Great. And this goes with some of what you said, but how can an individual create a savings plan? And this is a free for all. How can an individual create, what can we do to create a savings plan? I heard automated, the automated millionaire. Is that a book, Latoya? Automated Millionaire?
Yes.
Do you know who wrote that?
Automatic Millionaire. I'll find his name, and then I'll put it in the chat because I
Put
can't
that in
remember.
the chat because I think that's a book we need to be getting. I might be, on Amazon real quick. Bring find it. Get
Yeah,
that here. Get that here by the time we finish this live because y'all know Amazon don't play. You place that order, they knocking on the door in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Literally.
To answer that question though about how can one save, I think we have to be real with ourselves. And sometimes we look at what's coming in and say, hey, it doesn't cover everything I want to do. There is nothing wrong with a side hustle. I believe in a side hustle. I believe in set a goal, even if it's not something you want to do long term, set a goal for how you're going to save and use that side hustle to save that money. I remember when I was in college, I worked with a lot of people who were, well in their careers, and they worked the night shift with me at the bank processing checks. And I used to wonder, like, my goodness, why would you do that? But I realized they had goals, they had things that they wanted to do, they had a plan, and so they thought about and they mapped out, okay, I've got to do this job for this long to save this amount of money to get to the next step.
Yeah.
When a lot of people, when clients come to me and say, hey, I want to buy a house, we talk about their real numbers. Based upon your income and you're paying this amount in rent right now, you can afford a house payment, but there may not be a lot of room for saving the down payment and closing costs. Okay, let's put a plan in place. What side hustle or not side hustle, what additional income can you do that doesn't, that's within reason that will allow you to reach your goal? And so I just think we have to be realistic and not run from possibly having to add that. And the second thing I'll say is a lot of people don't take advantage of the tax benefits that you have. We think I don't have the money, I don't make that much money, I don't have this and that to take advantage of just tax savings, because it doesn't sound like a lot, but saving on your taxes and then taking that tax refund and putting it in an account that you can't touch, for a period of time helps you get closer. It really is hard for me to see people get these tax refunds and they go buy TV, go buy, things that aren't immediately in line with their goals. And so my suggestion is just when you look at what's coming in, think about ways that you can maximize it and then also potentially add to it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I feel like whenever you're creating a savings plan, the number one thing is you have to know where you're trying to go. What's your goal? If it's, you want to invest and that's a certain amount, or you want to go save so you can buy a car or a home, you just have to know, number one, what's your goal? And then you do have to be real with yourself and understand that when you save, you're saving. I always use the analogy of the ants, how they're small. They work in packs to pick up a little bit of food for one season for the next season. So when you save, you have to save little by little. A lot of people, I think they get discouraged from saving because they're just like, they see this big old number, but you have to break that down into small increments and then treat it like a bill. That's what I tell my clients. You got to treat your savings like a bill. It's due every single month. And if you don't pay that OG&E bill, guess what? They're going to cut off the lights. So if you don't pay yourself that little bit of savings every month, you just have to treat it like that. And so I love to encourage my clients to do challenges. If your challenge is you want to save $5,000 in 3 months, break that down. What does that look like on a monthly basis? And what you'll find is that you'll start to enjoy savings. Like you'll start to look forward to seeing that number compound every single month. So that's what I would say. Be like the ants.
When it comes to saving money, is it better to save automated, or what about those that might want to? Like I remember at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of little challenges about envelopes. Put a $5 envelope every week, things of that nature. What works best, or does it depend on the personality of the person?
I think it depends on the personality. Go ahead, Latoya.
No, go ahead.
I think it depends on the personality of the person, because saving small increments worked for me, but some people are itchy and they just want to see it all done in one time. But I think it depends on how much you have coming in as well. So it's looking at your money and saying, how much am I working with? And then you have to go from there. So
I think my one of the coming from a person that loved to shop. And the Lord had to work on me and he got me there. Okay. But I still love fashion, baby. I still love fashion, but I know how to do it. But one of the things that I found that helped me when I had a huge spending problem is that I will always challenge myself to open a Christmas savings account that I couldn't touch. And when I would do that Christmas savings that I couldn't touch until October and November, I didn't necessarily use it for Christmas. I just used it as far as my savings account to say, hey, I did it. And so that really helped me get into a habit, because we know that it takes about 66 days to create a habit. So if we're doing this throughout the year, then you start to see that money. You're like, oh, okay, if I did it now, I know I can do it. But then just the ability to know that you can't touch that money is very helpful. And I actually did that for my mom, and it's been helping her, baby. She doing it. Okay.
I like that. I remember someone, I think when I was young, that there was an opportunity that I didn't realize how important it was. But when I was young, I worked for AT&T, and we had a way to do a Christmas account. I think it was with the AT&T credit union or something. We were able to have like a Christmas account, a Christmas savings account, where we put a little something back, and like you said, released it um, at a time where I was like, oh, okay, then. But child, please, that ended up, because of my bad money habits, ended up being the bill for October. It just is what it is. But younger, not knowing, making more money, wasn't aware of any of that information. Good stuff, ladies. Anybody have any questions for these awesome, amazing queens in the chat? Please pop them in the chat. We have some more. What are some things an individual should ask during a monthly or quarterly? Oh, hold on. Let's go back. For personal finances, do we need an accountant? And if so, what are some questions should we ask them? Do we need an accountant for personal finances?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
No. Okay.
You
So
must
go
need an
ahead.
accountant for your business finances,
Oh,
more so than your personal finances. Because if you have a regular 9 to 5 where you get a W-2 every month, if you get a W-2, you don't need an accountant to tell you where your growth opportunities and things like that are with your personal finance. But if you have a business, then yeah, you're going to need some assistance to help you align your business and get it where it needs to be to grow financially.
I would say you don't need an accountant for your personal finances, but I always suggest that everyone invest in a personal finance session with a coach, or someone who can help them at least once a year, just so because again, coaches, we know more than the everyday person. We keep up to date with the changes that are the laws, smaller laws that are behind the scenes that are not getting headlines that may actually affect your retirement plan, may actually affect certain things. And so there are certain things that you think that you're going really well, but when you want to take things to the next level, it's definitely worth at least sitting down with someone, at least saying, hey, these are my plans for this year, or the plans I have for my family this year. What are the best ways to go about it? Just because the way you've been doing it may not be enough for you to take it to the next level. So even if that person says, hey, you're on the right track, the way you're doing it, keep doing what you're doing, that's still worth the time too, to just have that reassurance that what you're doing is kind of like, we say we do checkups, physical checkups at least once a year. And I just say that we should always do that for our finances. Again, there are so many things that can change with different seasons, with different things going on in your finances throughout the year. So having that once a year appointment with a personal finance coach and someone who can look over certain things for you and keep you up to date on what's going on, I think is definitely worth the investment.
I'll just add to that, just piggybacking on that. I think we have to don't underestimate the resources at your fingertips. I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time, and there's some really great resources, podcasts, and things out there that teach people who may not even have the slightest idea where to start with their finances, how to just look at your bank account. How much did you spend last month on Starbucks? I did a post a couple months ago about how much I spent on coffee and bagels in the morning and how that adds up over a year's time. And it added up to like $1,600. So to think I can't save money, if you just start with the resources around you and look at where you can make small adjustments. I know a lot of credit unions offer initial free, just a personal finance, I'll call it a chat, because you really do need someone who looks at your situation, like Rachel was saying, and have a coach. But don't underestimate just the resources that may be available to you to just get started. A lot of people, budgeting and financing and income, a lot of people have shame around it. They're embarrassed that they haven't done a better job with their finances. They're embarrassed to share with someone how they've spent money. I've had clients that say, I'm embarrassed to say how much money has gone through my hands and I haven't done anything solid with it. But we have to put that to the side, because you can't move on until you acknowledge it. And so if you want to figure out how to get started, just look around. There's Pinterest, and everybody who's a guru is not a guru, but if you found something that feels solid to you, seems like it makes sense, it's in line, look at it and then maybe start there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm going to pivot a little bit. Miss Rachel's been a little quiet. So, Miss Rachel, you have your motto, your mission, your mantra is teaching biblical financial principles. Share with us, if you will, some good biblical money affirmations.
So that is actually Latoya's mantra. So I don't want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I saw it twice.
It's me and
Janelle. Yeah, we both kind of have that biblical principle.
I was like, I don't want to steal it from y'all.
Yes,
both of y'all say something about. Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
Well, it's both of us, but I'll just share. For me, I would just say when it comes to biblical things, a lot of the things that management is huge, and when we don't manage our money, we can't help but to lose it. So when we're thinking from the perspective of biblical, God talks about us being good managers of our money, or being good managers, period. And so even if you think about Adam and Eve, they lost everything they had because they didn't know how to manage it. So, I mean, when we think about now, whatever we don't manage, we lose when it comes to our money, when it comes to people, when it comes to relationships. That's just how it is. And then if we take it from that perspective, we'll start to be a little bit more intentional about how we move.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to apologize to the panel and those that are watching. It's Janae, because I have to go back. I was like, I know I've seen somebody else that pricked my spirit. It's Janae. I apologize, Queen. Financial healing for women and guys and women on how to financial lives through a spiritual approach. So, Janae, do you have any biblical money matters affirmations, something that we can speak? Affirmations, for those of you that may not know, affirmations are things that we get up and we say positively to ourselves to motivate us through the day and keep our mind focused. So something like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me. One of my money ones is wealth and riches are in my house. So there are some things, as we all are in the affirmations and speaking life and self-care to us. I believe, and I'm sure Janae has some more. We're, just being blessed and highly favored, but we're ahead to not, things of that nature. So I believe that we should be able to have some money affirmations that we can speak out loud by faith. Put the word on that thing, Janae. Come on, put the word on it. Give us some money. Biblical affirmations that we can speak in the morning.
I love it. I love this.
And as a matter of fact, that sounds like a book for you. I'm just gonna drop that. Walk in my calling real quick. I know it ain't that, but that's a book for you, baby. Money affirmations, baby. We gotta speak it and call it and bring it forth. So give us a snippet of what your book's gonna be.
Look, there is over 2,000 scriptures in the Bible regarding to money. And one thing that I realize is believers, we understand like, oh, if something was to happen to us, we're going to die, we're going to go to heaven. But a lot of things that I realize that we don't have is the abundant life on here on earth. We don't, a lot of us don't experience abundant life. And in order to have abundance on earth, that is tied to a resource, it's tied to money. And if you want to be powerful in the world and really make an impact in the world, we believers need to have some money. So I would say the number one affirmation that I say every morning is I deserve abundance. I deserve to be on this earth, to be able to walk, to be able to give, to be able to be a resource, so that the world can see what a believer really looks like. And for the longest time in my past, all I seen was broke, busted, disgusted, believers just with these prayers that aren't wrong, right? It's what they knew. Lord, bless me with this little bit, but he wants to do more. He wants to give you everything and you deserve it. He loves you so much that he says you deserve it. So I always say, I deserve abundance. He wants it for me. Period. Period.
I know you got some. Come on. It's some more in there. We got time. We got nothing more
Fearfully
time.
and wonderfully made. I mean, there's just, I don't use scriptures in that sense. I just say what it is. There's nothing that can make my money devoured, right? I'm faithful tither. The devourer does not live in my vicinity. Everything that I touch is blessed. Everything you touch is blessed, right? Because your heart is going to honor the Lord with what he give you. Everything that we have, it came from somewhere and it wasn't just from us. So if he allowed you to have your little bit, whatever you have right now, that means you can do something with it. You can save it. You can give it. You can plan to multiply it, like in the parable of the talents, right? So whether you have a little bit or whether you have a lot, he gave you that specific amount for you to be purposeful with it. And your money has to be purposeful. So even saying my money is purposeful, what I do with my money, I do what I do with it on purpose. I give it on purpose. I pay the bills on purpose. Everything has a purpose. So, yeah.
So I am typing in some of mine, and if anybody else have any to type in that because we're all women and believers.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll share some of the ones I have that was just flowing. That's my lane. Wealth and riches are in my house.
Yes.
Wealth and riches are in my house. I shall lend and not borrow.
Yes.
I shall lend and not borrow. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. I am the righteousness of God.
Yes.
The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. I am the righteousness of God. I have the power to get wealth. I have the power of the Holy Ghost. Hey, glory, to get wealth.
Don't start nothing now.
Listen, Janelle says, I felt that. I felt it. Janelle says, I lack no good thing. That's biblical based. He will withhold. There's no good thing that he will withhold from us. Yeah. I lack no good thing.
So can I just throw in there one of my favorite?
Come on, Queen. We in there.
Just a scripture that touches me, and it's so unique because it applies to every part of my life. And I think that we can get so wrapped up in what we want that we have to step back and say, wait a minute, whatever is supposed to be for me, it's going to be for me. And so one of the scriptures that I lean on heavy is Psalms 138:8, where it talks about the Lord will perfect everything that concerns me. That means my business, my money, my house, my provision, my opportunities, everything that concerns me, he will perfect it. And so we don't have enough in our own power to change the will of God over our lives and what is for us. And it's hard, especially I'll relate it to real estate, because I have clients who fall in love with houses or neighborhoods and they want to live in certain places, and I'm with it. But I always go back to God will perfect everything that concerns me. Everything that concerns you, everything that concerns your neighbor. You don't have to want what the other person has. Don't keep up with the Joneses, because you're just as blessed as the Joneses. You and the Joneses are both in God's favor. So he'll perfect everything that concerns you. And I think that's, if I had to throw one in, that's the one that I just lean on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. And Janée said, I owe no man anything but to love him. So we got some good affirmations for us to speak personally over our lives. We got some good tips about personal finances, ladies. Snapping up for each other. And those in the comment section, we know we can't see y'all, but go ahead and snap it up. We feel your snaps. Good stuff, good information. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Fancy Swag Her magazine for the next session, and we'll be back for part 2 in a minute.